Why, hello, and welcome back. I have just a fantastic comic for you today. It's Hellboy. It's the fifth of the Wild Hunt series, and I have to tell you, this is probably my favorite one so far. It is. It is just cool. It is beyond cool. As much as I want to jump into it with you, trigger warnings first. Not really a lot for this one, just violence, depictions of Satan for the people scared of that kind of thing. I guess there's a dead child in there. It's a ghost. So if you're sensitive about that stuff, maybe. This isn't like last week's episode where I blatantly did not remember a horrible slur contained in there. But still, I stopped when I found it beforehand and warned people. But if any of that's too much for you, I'd like to invite you back next week when I'm going to be reading The Spirit. We finished up the first of these collections I have. It was like 5 in the series, and each one has some of his best stories in there, or his most popular ones. So we're on the second edition now. I guess the story is called Johnny Marston, which doesn't sound as attractive as some of the previous titles, such as Queen of Voodoo, but we'll see. It looks like as we go on in there, the Black Queen will even be returning herself, so that'll be interesting. I really like that villain. Which, from what I understand, the Spirit didn't have too many villains, actually, because most of them died. It's one of those comics where, like, he would stop them a lot of the time. Very finite, just bang. Lot of times the bad guy just gets shot. Maybe that's why, like, in Batman comics, he's so against that, because all the other detective comics are just like, bang, alright, comic's over. Still, though, that's next week. This week, we got Hellboy, and man, let's just get into it, because it's great. Okay, welcome to the main segment. So, starting off, love the artwork this week. There's this mysterious M8 and this Queen Bee. I gotta tell you, I don't know what this represents. Maybe I missed it on my first read through and we'll see it. Yeah, what else do you have on the cover? He's got this weird drippies on him. This guy goes through a lot of trench coats. And you have these weird little demon-y dudes. And you might think those are the little people he was fighting in last week's episode. But no, they're different. They have wings. In the comic, they're actually red. They're like little demons, or imps, if you will. And if you flip it over, there's still just the picture from the original Wild Hunt. I mean, this whole run is called the Wild Hunt. And I'm wondering if it's going to have more of an effect on it, because so far, those guys got their got their what handed to them. So big nice introduction. So England. The fish are being so loud right now. So England. I wish you could see what I see. Out of the hollows of the earth, my army is coming. I wish I could see it, but I can't, not with these eyes. And you see, like, he's just kind of laying in her lap, getting petted like a little dog. But he's still standing, so he's kind of like awkwardly kneeling over. I guess she wouldn't let him fully on the chair. And he's just like I mean, like, it seems like, if you look at this, it looks sweet and comforting, but like this, it just seems like a lot of times men will put themselves in a really awkward, uncomfortable position just to be touched by a woman, like when cuddling and whatnot. And this is one of those times. So she's like, my poor boy, I know. It's giving Homelander vibes. If I had my powers again, if I could be what I was before, I could serve you better. You know, the animals are being really loud for this one, so I'm just going to give a little introduction to them. This is my cat, Needles. And every time I'm going to record a video, she decides to start eating. Funny thing behind her name, it's because we found her when she was a kitten, and when you held her, she would like bite you and whatnot, and it felt like gripping a ball of needles. So, that's how she got her name. The fish been doing good, by the way. Look how big Carpe Diem's got. He's so impressive now. A lot of personality in this guy. Okay, so she's like, serve me? You have done so much already. You rescued me from my grave. You restored my body.
I could do more.
For love of me? For the promise of a future to your people?
Yes.
And is there not some other reason?
Hellboy.
Ah, revenge, I know. My witches, by their art, are seeking to find him. And you have this one, like, gurgling here, while these other ones are, like, gathered around this cauldron, like, frantically stirring it. And she's like, Guadem di Ta'uk. She's going all goblin mode. She's like, I was taking a dump. Then you have, like, these weird dudes with the spears. I gotta tell you, they don't look too effective to me. Oh, I didn't notice them, so they killed, like, some little... Oh, you know what that is? That's that guy. So this is where he disappeared, where he was taken into the trap by that grungy dude. The, hey, y'all want to buy some weed guy? And that's him. That's his body. You remember the bird lady showed up and took him to the castle? Your followers are scattered far and wide, searching for him. It'll not be long before he's found. Don't kill him. No. When the time is right, I will make you strong again. As you did for me, I will do for you. Then Hellboy will be yours. And that makes me hopeful. I want to see this guy get his weird shape-shifting powers back, and Hellboy just, like, be whooping on that. It would be funny if Hellboy is just like, eek, and it makes him turn into, like, I don't know, he went into purgatory. Like his girlfriend made him do before. By the way, this one's in such condition, I think I might be the first person to ever read it. So then it cuts to Hellboy, and he's like, holy crap. And they're standing outside that fiery castle. What's the deal with the fire? For 500 years, Our Lady's castle has been under siege by demons. You got these old demon guys here. And they got some long arms on them. They're just flying around the flames. And there's like this huge guy like on this bridge here with all the flames just standing there all menacing with his big hammer. And who's that guy? He commands the others, and for 500 years has guarded the bridge. He's like, I'm closing the strait. No one's getting through. But obviously you guys can fly in and out of that place. And however you got us here, I'm sure you could have gotten us over him and into the castle, right? And she's just like, Our Lady requires that you cross the bridge. Yeah, she wants you to friggin' kill this guy for him. She's like, I have not been able to go out for a bag of Doritos for years. Everything must be carried back by a bird. Your lady just needs somebody to take that guy out. Did she set this whole thing up from the beginning? They just kind of stare at him with their big eyes. Screw it. I'll deal with your boss later. And this Alice chick, I think her name's Alice, is like, Hellboy. It's okay. These guys are going to take good care of you. Or else. And he just jumps down to fight this guy. With his little short shorts. And the guy on the bridge is like, go back. He's like, screw that, pal. If you were smart, you just get the hell out of... And then, boom! He hits him with the hammer, cutting him off. Go back! And Hellboy's like, Gah! As he's flying back and his coat's getting all burned up. And then, bam! Crap! As he skids into the wall. He's like, oh! As the stones fall around him. Then the guy runs up, slamming down where his head was for him to just barely roll out of the way. None shall pass this way. Boom! And then again, boom! Taking out part of the archway, knocking into the flames. And Hellboy's like flipping off. You can really see how the fingers are on here. And the guy's running up. By this road none shall leave. None shall enter. He's like, oh, crap. As he's trying to stand up. And the witches are just like... I don't know if they're witches. But the weird ladies are just kind of like holding Alice over the edge like they're watching. And he looks at Alice and Alice looks at him for a second. And then, boom! As the hammer comes crashing down on his spine. Slamming him in the ground, breaking around him. And then I imagine he swings it back around and like in Polo, just boom, knocks him up off the ground. Seemingly in the balls, he's hit. And he flies back. And the guy continuing on what he said about none shall cross till I collect what is owed. And then none shall pass this way as he picks up Hellboy and tosses him off. He's like, son of a, as he flies off, grabbing on this ledge in the fire. All these little weird pixie dudes are swarming him. Boom. What do you think they're going to do? Are they going to start biting on him like tooth fairies? Well, no, this one comes up. We'll call him Belshazzar. He'll never let you cross that bridge. And as you are now, you can't beat him. He's just like, any suggestions? And I love this panel that he's just all beat up and groggy. And he's like, yeah, I'll talk to the little pixie dude. That's what I love about Hellboy, is his nonchalantness. You know, a lot of superheroes have that, but Hellboy pulls it off well. He's like, first promise that you will remember me when you come back into our kingdom. He's like, sure. So, as you know, Hellboy, he's supposed to bring about the apocalypse. The Hand of Doom is the key to hell that will unleash it upon Earth. And this guy's pretty much insinuating that when he comes back to do that, don't forget the little guy that helped you. He's doing it now for favors later. And you know, we talk a lot about how true Christians don't need to be afraid of depictions of the devil. Well, it says very clearly several times in the Bible that only God brings about the end. Jesus is the one who will undo the 7 seals. So, if Hellboy is the key somehow to all this, then he is an instrument of God. Satan's dominion already kind of is. So that's what he's on about. I don't dare say his name, but he is a duke in hell, and a knight commanding 31 legions of spirits. Yeah? The Order of the Fly, and he has this little fly and a jewel on his ring, would be to cut him off from his power. And Hellboy picks himself up, thinks. He's like, remember your promise. I imagine if Hellboy did get a position of power, he'd be like, first rule every Wednesday is pancake day. And the guy runs up, hits him with the hammer again in the shoulder. Kind of looks like it gives him a Charlie horse, because he's like, oh, boom. And he's like, but then he does that thing where you swoop your arm over and you grab it. He's like, give me that. And the guy's like, oh, because he can't pull it back. So he tries like lifting him up. Hooah! He's like, fool none shall. And Hellboy was counting on that. And he reaches over with his hand. And he doesn't punch. It looks like he's going for a punch. But no, he grabs it and crunches it. Like an owl with a Tootsie Pop. And the fly comes flying out. Bzz. So I like that was like a living fly. I'm just going to imagine that's a super powerful fly. He's like, I carry with me 30 legions of hell. Ooh, a taco. So he's like, what did you do? And he's like, who's a fool now, jackass? And then crack! His helmet gets all messed up and whatnot. And Hellboy picks up this large piece of building. And the guy's like, no, Messi! And he's like, that's right, croak! As he just smashes it down on his face. And all the fire just kind of like goes out, and there's just this dust, and Hellboy's standing over him as he's defeated. Looking jacked, by the way, my boy. Those pancakes are doing you good. And the weird chicks run up with Alice, and they're like, hurry! Is she? And they're like, hurry! And then once they get inside, they turn into birds. I'm imagining like mini houses. There's a bunch of stairs, and they're like, we will not run up the stairs. Just turn into birds, I would. And then boom, there's this orthodox looking fellow. He kind of looks like the guy that was writing the stories about Koshki in the back of the other one. He's like, I don't think she's... He gives her a drink, a weird yellow drink. And he's like, she's alive. Ah. And then a voice calls out from behind Hellboy, good. And he turns around, who? And there's this Queen Elizabeth looking lady. And a detail that's easy to miss here, there's a bunch of feet. Like there's a bunch of bodies hanging from the ceiling, which is terrifying. There's no explanation for that, so I'm hoping they bring it up in the next one. And one of the birds tells him, Morgan Le Fay. I wonder if these birds are the bird that was talking to him in the dream about Dagda. So, Hellboy, welcome home. And then it cuts to that little Timon guy. He's like, Your Majesty? I assume he's talking to the Blood Lady. Oh yeah, he is. So, an ambassador from Udsvik, King of Jutland. What word from that king? And there's this little goblin-y dude. He's kind of like Jockin from Inuyasha. Majesty, he sends warm regards, calls you his sister, and says he recognizes you as the queen of all witches. And he pulls out this, like, blinging crown. He won't look her in the eyes for some reason as he's presenting it to her. And for that he bids me to give you this crown. He regrets that he cannot join you now, but says that he speaks for all his cousins and brothers, kings in the north, and they promise that on the eve of battle, they will all meet you on whatever field you choose, and their armies will fight at your side. And she's like, I am honored to receive so pleasant a message and so beautiful a gift. Bring it closer that I might see it better. And this guy, he's still like, he just looks like he's in ecstasy. He's like, oh yeah, thighs. And he like inches closer, presenting the crown, but still not looking at her. He's like, Your Majesty? She's like, closer. You made this? I did, Your Majesty. And she goes, look at me. And he nervously, sheepishly even, like, looks up towards her. And she has these glaring red eyes. You know who I am? And he starts weeping. He's like, I do. Good. Now take this thing and break it into pieces. Or better yet, hammer it into a knife to murder your king. Murder? She's like, oh yes. You heard of an edgelord? She is the edge. Cut out his heart and cast it into your furnace, so the fire burns red. Then take your tools and make me a helmet. And then, whoosh, I guess she throws a lantern on the tree and it catches ablaze. Make it out of iron in the shape of 3 ravens, joined together and carved into it 3 names. Oh God. Badb, Macha, and Moriga. So now all will know me, not queen of witches, but goddess of war. And he's like weeping as he carries the crown off. Still very prestigious. You know, this Grungridge dude, he's just on the ground. He's just kneeling, but I just imagine he's like trying to like weasel back up to get some thigh meat. The little Timon guy's just like, yes, my lady. And that's the end, to be continued. So then you have this cool little mini story here. Not many people visit the old Smith estate anymore. Baby Smith is particularly lonely, and vents her frustration on those who would listen. So you have this chick and this dude. He's in an armored helmet and a suit. And he's like, nobody wants to play with me. And the woman's just like, listen, my dear, there is a place just beyond here, where you'll have friends who will never run away. Won't that be nice? And this guy's all like, ugh, this crap. And the little girl starts floating up, angry with what he's saying. He's like, of course it will. Now move along, child. You've been dead much too long to indulge in such behavior. And she turns into some Slimer-looking Ghostbusters thing. It's just like, Roar! And starts distorting the world around them. And she's freaking out, and this guy's like, enough of your silly business. Oh, I didn't notice this before, but they're standing in a casting circle. It kind of looks like there's one of the seals from the Lesser Key of Solomon drawn under them too, but I'm not too sure. So, the Monster Men in O Sinner Beneath Us, Part 1. So, the woman, like, they're being thrown around. She's like, Benedict! He's like, forgive me, Miss Lane, as Voltaire once proclaimed, to the dead we owe nothing but the truth. I just love how they drew this little girl, the colors they're using. You notice the picture in the background changes too in these panels. It starts off is these people like in a wagon. Then as the house gets turned, the people in the wagon and the horses start falling. The little boy's trying to hold onto the tree. They're falling with it. And then they wind up at the bottom and they're looking up. So, truth is fine, but this is merely the final gasp of a restless spirit's psychic energy, powerful enough to shift the physical space of the room. You mean Baby Smith's causing the room to move? Where? And she kind of turns back to normal, is actually freakier than when she's all green. Downward, descending into the earth, but perhaps not the underground as you know it. And you have this, I guess they had an excavator ready for this. As the structure collapses, due to the agitation of Baby Smith, 2 witnesses monitor the event from a safe vantage point. Yay, got here just in time, Larry. My readings are jumping off the charts. Jeez. Looks like the whole place is tumbling down. Yeah, the estate was built on top of an ancient burial crypt. At least it's not an ancient Indian burial ground. I'm so tired of the burial crypt trope. And the stress is causing the foundation to cave into the tunnel below. But Sunset is in there. Why'd Benedict insist on taking her along? A child's ghost is apt to find a woman more sympathetic. It's possible malignant spirits are soothed by Sunset's compassion. She does have a knack for that sort of thing. Hoisting them up with heavy machinery will be tricky. So, yeah, the whole house, you can see, it's kind of cool how they did it going through one panel into this one. It's falling into this crypt down below. He's like, we've come to rest. And this weird guy's crawling under him. The final resting place for the restless spirit. It's quiet down here. And then he starts knocking on the door. Hello? Who is this now? Mercy on me bones. It's the squire. And this is so in the middle of the story, like I feel like where was I supposed to get the rest of this? And he's like, Mr. Croak. He's like, Croak, just Croak, with his little Mo Howard hair. Fancy the fates placing me at your door, again after all these ages. I see the creatures who dragged you down into the pit have not been kind to you. Aye, the puttyfoons held me captive, and twisted me frame more than ever. So it seems. And there are actually people who have sadly done this to people in the past. Not this exactly, but things like this, just breaking and resetting their bones to deform them. It's like, you must come with us if you wish to avoid the puttyfoes again. Miss Langley and I give you, Croak, ambassador to all that is queer and unseemly. And this comes from an older notation of queer, how it used to mean more just odd. We've met before, but you're ill. And you're not repulsed by me? Touched I am. You've got a heart. Yes, you do, ma'am. Save the jacket and old school tie for later, Croak. We've got to go. The passageway leads to the surface. However, the contents of that sack tied around your neck must remain behind. But this here's my confidant. Tells me wise sayings with his eyes. And he starts pulling it from him. All the more reason. And he pulls out this weird mustached skull. Lord Dunsay preserve us. The mustachio demonic. A powerful relic. You dingus. Ugh. This relic embodies an agency of infinite malignity. He starts choking the guy, which is hard because of his position. Hatred and fear are its meat and drink. A skull, another evil skull. And he's like, gasp, true. He's literally choking him to death. When I was prisoner of the puttyfolds, I saw they were partial to it. So you stole it on a whim? What use are centuries of vigilance when any cretin can nonchalantly unleash a demon into the world? Even someone whose firm of faith can be corrupted. It traffics in lost souls. She's just staring at it kind of longingly. He's like me. Oh, he's holding him by these chains. Tied him up really odd. He's like, Croak, you are mankind's weightiest milestone. Humanity would never survive a pestilence that could be so easily restored. One innocent soul falling under its influence. That's all it would need. And he gets really close to his face. You and I are consigning that thing back into the pit, where it belongs. Miss Lane, Sunset, and she took off. So I guess she is corrupted. She's gone, Squire. So's the skull. So I want to see what happened there. I want to know more about this. And you got some of these, letters here. You can read those if you want. I didn't think they added too much. Then you have the man himself, Mike Miganola here. He's reading something called Creepy. He don't look very comfortable to have his picture taken. But yeah, this is the guy. This is who made Hellboy. You have this cool DH Comics Buffy ad. I mean, the artwork looks pretty good on that. Again, they had Aliens. And I feel like the Dark Horse Aliens, first, I feel like a lot of the art in them was kind of bad, but just really hit and miss. I don't like a lot of the stuff they added. But, I mean, I am a big fan of Aliens. Don't be surprised if you find some on the channel at some point. I've been proven delightfully wrong in the past, so I'd love to again with more comics. And that is this week's episode of The Wild Hunt. But for a final analysis of this, let's get back to my office for the final thoughts. So did I oversell it? I mean, it was beautiful, right? The action was great. It was funny. I absolutely loved it. There wasn't very much story here, but it's because it was all action. Which is funny because so many of the other ones, there'd be more story, a little bit of action. It still wouldn't give, the complete story, though. But, man, I felt really satisfied by the end of this one. If I was going to show somebody one Hellboy comic to get them in the franchise, it'd probably be this one. Heck, if I was going to show someone one comic to explain to them what a comic is, it'd probably be this one. Just very satisfied with the story within it, the pacing of it. It did really good for being a shorter story. As for my age-old question, would he defeat Captain Planet? I'm starting to think that Captain Planet might not be able to defeat one of the Princes of Hell. Especially seeing as I'm pretty sure with all the Gaia stuff and whatnot that Captain Planet is not a Christian. So, where we stand at the moment, Hellboy might rival Captain Planet. I'm just a little reluctant to say stronger, and it's 100% the flying. But there's still time for him to take that title from him. The more I see from Hellboy, the more I'm convinced there's not really anything that could stop this guy other than God Almighty himself. But that's all I got for you about Hellboy this week. As always, if you've made it this far in the video, thank you. It always helps me out, people watching stuff all the way more to the end. Apparently, they don't even count the view if you click out before the end, which is dude, everyone clicks out before the last few minutes. Come on, who's watching this? Again, next week we're going to be doing The Spirit. And like the week before, if there's anything, let's just say not polite in there, I will just censor it as needed. I'm myself very against censorship of any kind. I believe censorship is the death of art. But with what I want to talk about, I really can't put the videos out any other way. But we'll have to wait till next week for then. And until then, stay safe out there.